Once again, it is on the Rewind podcast. Of course, it's your man, Kev Nash. Appreciate everybody checking out last week's episode. I like to keep things organic, but to help the podcast grow, you got to share it. You got to give it 5 stars on iTunes. You got to do all that mumbo jumbo. And if you are watching on YouTube, make sure you give that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. More podcasts like this are on the way. But I got my guy in the building. Let me make sure I get all these. I got my notes. Make sure I get all this right.
All right.
Bowie State representative. Community Cuts for Kids representative. Some Wildcats podcast host. Michael Jordan hater. Ohio State Buckeye hater. For some strange reason, a Washington Wizards lover. Hashtag the walk. Hashtag CJ all day. My mentor. A Washington Nationals fan. A Blac Crew fan. St. Louis representative. DC representative. My mentor. My guy. The one, the only Craig Blac. What is good?
Kev Nash. Kev.
We here.
What up, man? Hey, Kev, I'm gonna help
bro.
you out. I'm gonna change your name on this video to get your name right. I'm gonna rename your joint to get you straight. Hey, man, what's up with that Michael Jordan thing, man? I do hate his ass. I hate Michael Jordan.
Yeah. I listened to some Wildcats podcasts when the Last Dance doc was on every week. Blac had his 10 minutes of hate for Michael Jordan. And I'm like, Blac hate MJ so bad.
I don't. Let's keep it 100. I don't hate MJ. I don't hate MJ. I just think that he didn't take enough opportunities to help out his people around him and to help out the culture, the African American, the Black culture, when he was the epitome of everything. When he controlled the world. And that's just my issue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
so I point that out.
For everybody that says that, like, they want everybody to be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They want everybody to be LeBron. They want everybody to be Jim Brown in their heyday. He a country dude from North Carolina, man. And we see him as this cool dude, but deep down inside, he just a country boy from North Carolina. And he ain't got no parts in that. And once he started cashing them checks, he was like, I'm about to get this money.
We can't be insulting all them country boys down in North Carolina, though, because we can't insult them like that, okay? You know, Mike had a chance to change the whole landscape of everything, man, and he didn't, he changed the landscape for himself, and he's a great businessman. I'm not mad at that. He does his thing, but when it came to stepping up for his fellow players and the culture, I don't think he did that. So, I mean, but Mike is one of the GOATs. He is not the GOAT. I can't give him that because you just said Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So how can I call Michael Jordan the GOAT? And that's not hate. They're gonna say, "Oh, Craig is hating again." No, I mean, that's fact. That's real. Come on now.
This is a music podcast. You about to turn it into a basketball podcast?
Let me stop.
No. You got me there. You got me. So give me your 5 GOATs then. Give me 5 GOATs.
Ooh, I got 5.
Yeah.
Can I give you 3? I can give you 5. Okay.
Well, give me your top 5 players. Top 5 NBA players of all time.
Of all time.
Yep.
First, we'll go with Kareem is number 1.
Sky Hook. All-time leading scorer.
All-time leading scorer. Number 2, I would give Michael Jordan number 2. I will give him
so
number 2.
Reluctant to say that.
I will give Michael Jordan number 2. I'm gonna give Magic Johnson number 3 because I'm a big Magic Johnson fan. He's number 3. Number 4, I gotta give it to another big man, Bill Russell. Number 4.
A lot of rings.
Russell. Yep, lot of rings.
All of them filled up.
And I want to pick another guard, just to put another guard up there. I don't want to pick another big man, but it's hard not to pick another big man in this situation because you talk about all time.
Mm-hmm.
So that 5 is a tie with Shaq and his name, the Laker, the Philadelphia. What's his name?
Will.
Wilt. Yeah, Wilt. Between him and Shaq. But I wanted to put another guard now. I wanted to go another guard. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. I just want to point out for the record, there is no LeBron James and Craig Black stopped by.
No, there's not. There's not. No, there's not.
We'll save that for another podcast.
No, there's not. No, LeBron James is nowhere near there. No. Get your rings up, son. Get your rings up, okay? And then you'll get there.
This shit is going viral. So, bro, I got you on this Rewind podcast to rewind something I know that you know a lot about, a lot of information about this. But before we jump into that actual CD, man, I want to talk about some of the albums that came out in the year of 2000 along with this album.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So,
okay. All right, kid. That's what I'm talking about. Go
yeah,
ahead.
man. In the year 2000, the Lox, their first album on Rough Riders, We Are the Streets, dropped in 2000. Ghostface Killer from the Wu-Tang Clan, classic album in Supreme Clientele. Trick Daddy, Book of Thugs. Beanie Siegel, The Truth. Black Rob, Life Story. Big Pun's second album, Yeah Baby. The Birth of the Yin Yang Twins with Thug Walking. Eminem, Marshall Mathers LP. Rough Riders Volume 2 came out. The Birth of Little Flip with Leprechaun. Lil Jon and the Eastside Boys, We Still Crunk. Scarface, Last of a Dying Breed. Ludacris, Back for the First Time. Snoop, Last Meal, his last album on No Limit. So we got a lot of albums that came out in the year 2000, but one stands out to me, and you were there for it, Nelly, Country Grammar.
That joint went diamond, didn't it? It's diamond, right?
Yeah.
People, do people know what diamond is? Do they understand what that diamond means?
Break it down, man. Break it down.
I believe diamond means 10 times platinum.
Yeah, 10 million albums, man.
10 million albums, 10 times platinum. That is incredible. That is just incredible. I mean, for him to come from that's a new artist. That's a brand new artist. Yeah. That's from out of nowhere. That's from the streets of St. Louis, from U City. You know what I'm saying? And Kev, when I first got that single, I was still in DC. When I got Nelly's single, Hot Shit, I hadn't moved to St. Louis yet. I was doing radio in DC at WKYS in DC. And we had that single. I was the street team, director at KYS, and we had thousands. This is back in the day of radio when you got so many different CDs and stuff. You got so many giveaways. That shit doesn't happen nowadays. But anyway, we had a truckload. We was like, what we gonna do with all? Who want this? And I think he had the Ace of Spade or something on the CD. We was like, what is this? You know, I put it in. I was like, oh, this joint cool. It was, hot shit. You know, it was cool. We went, but then it hit the radio, and as soon as that joint hit the radio, it was no looking back. That bamboo, he caught fire.
So for me, 99, 2000 is all a blur. Like those years just kind of like all like 99, 2000, 2001, kind of like all mixed together. They're all kind of like wrapped up in one, because that's like my prime college years. I remember a lot of my freshman year and a lot of my senior year. That sophomore year, junior year, first senior year, really all mushed all into one. I couldn't tell you what happened in which year. I just know it happened. So for me, at that point, I'm working at the campus radio station. Like you said, Country Grammar came out, I want to say like in February. We get the single. I'm like, it's something I can play at the skating rink or at the bowling alley or on the air. It's not something that's going to last. It's going to be one of those songs that kind of like just pop up and then go away.
How wrong were we?
Very wrong. What was going on in the world of Craig Blac in 99 and 2000?
Man, I was this is when Radio 1 was expanding, man, and I was trying to get the hell out of DC because I saw my radio career not going anywhere, and I was trying to make a move. I was trying to advance myself in this radio game, kid. I had the master plan. When I saw that they were buying all these stations, I was in my program director's ear then, because he became the VP of over all the stations, and he was plucking people, sending them to this place, them to that place. when Radio One, then I think the Urban One now, started acquiring all these stations, and I hit the jackpot. It was like, man, and they sending you want to go to St. Louis crowd? Like, man, I'll go anywhere. Yeah, send me. I'm gone. I'm out of here. You know, because DC radio, I mean, I love DC to death. I love DC to death. Don't get me wrong. But I never got a full-time shot on DC airwaves. I was always part-time in promotions. I was never the guy, I guess. And you know, after a while, it took a toll on me. I was like, man, I'm done with this. I wasn't getting any. It had nothing to do with the city. It had to do with the industry of radio. I guess I just wasn't. I guess it just wasn't good enough. Okay, and I have no problem with that. But thank God they sent me to St. Louis. So that's where I was at. Mentally, I was in that place. I don't know where you were just getting out of college. I was in a place. I was out of college.
I wasn't even getting out of college. Like at that point, I'm trying to make sure I can graduate college. Like that, you know, every kid goes through that transition of like when you first get to college, like you start out good and then you find the party. And then you find about everything else that's going on. So you find yourself doing a million and one things. And then that scholar that you were in high school slowly dissipates into, hey, you're on academic probation. One more bad semester, you're taking your ass back to Cleveland. So I was in the transition of trying to dig my way up out the hole when this whole situation with Nelly started happening. And for you, I wanted to ask you, what did you think, or what was your thought process about the Midwest music scene? Because at the time, before Nelly in 2000, Midwest just was known for, in 92, Twisted came out. 94, we had Bone Thugs from Cleveland. Also in 92, we had Common and Crucial Conflict from Chi-Town 2 in 96. Outside of those four artists, there was no major impact from the Midwest. I mean, you had some the Dayton boys from Detroit. They made a little statement. I know that was more regional, but like out of those four artists were somebody from the Midwest that actually made noise in the industry. So what was your viewpoint of a guy from DC about the Midwest?
I ain't know shit about the Midwest, Kev. I ain't know nothing about St. What? I was just like, let's go, you know? So after I started doing my research, don't get me wrong, I started thinking about where am I going to be, and I'm going to make this transition in my life and move out there. Man, it was. I thought I was moving to a country bumpkin ass town, country North Carolina boy ass town. That's where I thought I was going. But once I got to St. Louis, it was like, oh no, these ain't no country dudes. These they got them. They got it twisted. You know what I'm saying? You know, you get into the city, it's like any urban area, if not worse, not worse, you know, that you go to. And from a music standpoint, Nelly had just taken off. So everybody in that city was rapping. Everybody was rapping. That's how I made my niche in St. Louis, because that whole scene, it was so big. But my overall impression was, I thought I was going to a country ass town. I heard about everybody wearing a pair of Suco jeans and all that. I thought I was going to go there with jerry curls. I did see a lot of jerry curls, but nevertheless, I just thought I was going to a little backwards, a slow city. But St. Louis was far from that, man.
So you show up in St. Louis in June of 2000, the same month that Nelly drops Country Grammar. You on the air. What's happening? What's the vibes in St. Louis like when you playing Country Grammar, hot shit? What's the vibes like? What's happening?
It's incredible. It's incredible. I'm gonna tell you something. I think I got there a little bit later than that. I got there a little bit later after 2000, after probably like the end. Nelly had already had the steam and the momentum going by the time I got there. So he was already the king of the city. You know, every Nelly list, Nelly. He was already running it. So when our station came, it was like a breath of fresh air, because the other station ran everything. You know what I'm saying? They weren't giving nobody any type of love on the music scene. So So when we came in, we immediately embraced everything Nelly. That's the one thing we did. That smart program director, my man Mike Fox, one of the best program directors I ever worked for in my life. Shout out to my man Mike Fox. It was like we did everything Nelly, St. Louis. We virtually gave them the station. Like, okay, you know what? It's yours. You know, we're gonna ride that wave. Why not?
Yeah,
ride the wave. You know what I'm saying? We're the new guys in town. Everybody was happy, you know, because especially on the music side, because we were playing their music. Right. We were playing all those independent artists' music. We had the city on lock, man.
Talk about that independent music scene, though, like how it can change a radio station's image, especially for a new station starting out.
So, man, it's something that I didn't see in DC. Mike Fox's whole philosophy on music was not like coming from DC, because we didn't show only local love. If you know about the DC culture, you know, only local music that got played in DC was go-go. Had nothing to do with any type of no hip hop, nothing like that, because we were quote unquote the go-go city. We wasn't all into the hip hop like it is now, like it's been for a long time now. But you know what I'm saying? You know, it was not there. So when I got to St. Louis and I saw all the love, I was like, wow, y'all supporting y'all people. You know what I'm saying? DC supported the go-go, but it didn't support the rap. So it made me feel a certain way, because I knew it was a lot of people trying to rap in DC. But in St. Louis, he gave me the niche. I bring artists on the radio every week. I had a thing called St. Louis Love. That was the name of my show. I ain't gonna lie. That made me at one time the king. I ain't gonna even front. I gotta tell you the truth. Go ahead. I gotta tell you the truth. That show, I had so much love from that show. I got so much support because I was supporting St. Louis and their artists. It made me it kind of defined me for a long time. You know, Craig, they're like, oh, this dude Craig Blac here showing everybody love. Because every week I'll bring a different artist on, this artist, that artist, this artist. I would sprinkle in. I would make sure some lunatics or whatever. Before Chingy was Chingy, and I had Chingy on there. I had to do Pretty Willie on there a couple times. Pretty Willie is Willie Mo Nelson. He's now in gospel, but he was like Nelly's rival, because he was with Nelly's producers. He was the second artist after Nelly's producer. When Nelly got away, he split it. When Nelly got signed, he split from the original guys that produced all the country Grammy. I mean, their facilities, and he was under a management contract, and he got out of that. And you know, it was a big fiasco going on with that. But nevertheless,
business is the business.
Yes, the business. And once you sign that contract, you sign that contract. But getting back to the whole, you know, I guess your question was basically the music scene. It was a culture shock, because I just saw the hunger in the city. It was just so many VIP records. There's so many. This dude Potsy, and Viked out records. My man Just Blac. You gotta be thinking. Now I gotta go back to some of these. You know what?
You brought Just Blac to Dayton.
Y'all brought Just Blac to Dayton. Now Future was signed with Guccio, which is Just Blac's boy, before he became the Future. You feel me? He was in St. Louis running the streets hard before he blew up. This dude named Guccio, which is Blac's right hand man, he had him signed to his label. It's a lot. It was so many more, man. I can't even run it down for you, man. It was just so many damn artists, so many acts. You know, a dude named Bino, East St. Louis. Oh, my man, CODOG and East St. I can't see St. Louis and East St. Louis are two totally different things. So you had your East St. Louis rappers and you had your St. Louis rappers. So a lot of people was like, Craig, don't go over to that East Side. When I first got there, I was like, nah, I'm embracing everybody. I'm going everywhere, all over the city, man. You don't want to go over the East Side. You don't want to cross that bridge, cuz I want to cross that bridge. Man, when I say St. Louis was progressive back then, and they had more energy. It was like I could work a party in St. Louis from 10 to 2 and make some money. And then from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., I can run across the bridge in East St. Louis and make more money. So per week, think about this, per week, I was working 2 clubs a night from Thursday to Sunday, getting paid. I made so much money in them streets of St. The love St. But I tell you, boy, that city, just cashing them. I love that shit. That's my shit. I love St. Louis. But go ahead. My bad, kid. I'm sorry.
No, you good. You good, bro. You good, bro. So, what do you think the impact of having St. Louis's own Cedric the Entertainer a part of Nelly's Country Grammar album with the intro, the outro, a couple interludes on there? What do you think the impact was on that album for him on there?
That just took Nelly's star status to a whole nother level because Cedric was riding the wave off that BET, and he was getting his movie. He was just starting movies just popping for him. You know, he's from St. Louis. All the connection. It was like, damn. It's like, you know, he got back then. I guess on albums, having a big star comedian in that name doing your interludes and stuff was a real big thing, and have Cedric doing that for Nelly was, it just solidified. And he was already rising and bubbling, but then when you realize that, okay, this is Cedric Entertainer co-signing him, so he got to be something. And Nelly had his own sound. You got to understand, before Nelly, people forget, Nelly was the first one to really be singing. I rap. What do you call that thing that they do? Is the rap?
Yeah.
Rap,
sing,
crooning, rap,
rap.
Sing and rap. He was the first one to do that.
Yeah.
You got all these youngins doing it now in rap today. Everybody's doing it now. Yeah. It's like they don't give that dude his real to do because they hated on that Bama so much. They hated on Nelly, especially them New York dudes, man. Them New York people, man. They hated on Nelly so
Do I need to add
much.
New York hater to your?
Man, them New York cats hated on Nelly so much. It was just, man, he'll tell you that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, what is he doing? He sound like this, nah. Hey, shit, he's selling records. That's the real shit. He's selling records. He had his own style.
And coming from a radio background, like, that's the thing that we talk about when we talk to our peoples about, like, well, I have a, hey, man, how many units is you selling type of attitude about it, and like, all right, I want to give you some hip hop. I want this shit to be quote unquote real hip hop still, but at the end of the day, this is a business, and it's about having hit records, and hit records mean you on the radio all the time. Mm-hmm. So talk about how when Nelly had that run, especially with this album, where this CD alone produced 4 singles.
Man, that band came from hit after hit after hit, and being in St. Louis, we played a lot more of his songs on this album than anybody else play. Just because you're in the region, we're right there with them, and they dissect it in the clubs. I'm gonna tell you something, man. That you had me when you say you wanted to do this. I had to go back and I had to re-listen. I had to, I haven't listened to Country Grammar in a long time, so I had to go back. I'm riding the bike, riding my bike, got my beats, and I'm listening to the joint, and I'm riding the car. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot all about. Okay, it's this song number 11. All right,
double check.
Other Side.
Okay.
Other Side. That is my favorite song on this album. Other Side. That's what I mean. We played this song probably, I don't know. This song came around probably 6 months after the explosion. You know what I'm saying? Okay. This song came after Country Grammar. It came after Loving You. It came after Batter Up. It came after EI. It came after what's the other song? What's that? Ride With Me. It came after, you know what I'm saying? Those were the big singles, but that song just that was a St. Louis song. Okay. When that Other Side came, I was like, oh shit. This and
why did it hit in St. Louis so hard? Because
it sounds like St. Louis. It sounds so much like St. Louis. That song was just, I don't know, the beat, the whole feel. When I had I'm gonna shout out my man Boogie Coleon, DJ Charlie Chan right here, man. Charlie Chan was part of Nelly's camp. He was DJ on Q95.5 back then. Boogie Coleon was well. But I remember the first time I heard it, because I wasn't really looking for this song. You know what I'm saying? Back then I was a programmer. Right. So my mind was what? Play the hits, Craig.
Play them hits.
Play the hits, Craig. Play the hits, Craig. Play the hits, Craig. I was programmed my damn self.
Right, exactly.
So I wasn't looking at it. He played that. I was in the club when he played that song. I was like, man, what the hell is that? I was like, oh no. This next day, Other Side. Made sure. I think the competition beat me to it as well. I ain't gonna lie. So, but nevertheless, that's just, So
So
it kind of never ended. You know, Nelly, you know, to this day, you still shit. St. Louis, they still cranking out Nelly. So, I mean, come on, he owns that city. But go ahead, my bad.
you good. So the second single, Ride With Me. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I liked Hot Shit Country Grammar. I like it, even though it had the down, down, baby. But if you listen, I actually like the clean version better than the dirty version. Because you got the edits in there with the gun cocking, and I like it give a little bit of gangster shit to it. You know, I like that type of shit. But when Ride With Me came out,
used to be a gangster, but go ahead.
Never. But I love that gangster shit. But I'm not gonna lie, and even to this day, whenever I hear Ride With Me, I hate Ride With Me. I'm not even gonna lie. I just
you hate it?
I hate it. I hated it then. I hate it now. Like I just don't like it. I never did. What? But I mean, the people, and you know, us being in radio, it's not about our personal feelings.
Yeah.
It's about what the masses want. It's what
you ain't never lied there.
Especially like I was actually having this conversation with my homeboy today about how we pick music or whatever. Like I was like, yo, it's so much easier to pick music now than when I first started. Like we actually had to do research back in the day, back when we was working together. Now, hey man, we just look at the streaming numbers. Oh, everybody's listening to that. We should play that. It's way easier now. But back to Ride With Me, I just never liked the song.
That's terrible, Kev. That what you just said is fucking terrible. But go right ahead. I'm sorry.
I know.
That's
it's
terrible, man.
And I tell you this, the Baby, the Suge record. So I'm at my godson's basketball game. They're playing the song, and I see the kids just doing the dance and all this shit. So I'm like, what is this? So what do? Full radio mode. I pull out Shazam. What is this song? Monday. I go in there like, we got to get this. I'm hitting up the reps like, yo, I need this clean today. I need it. We're not impacting until a little later. No, I need it
now.
Today.
We don't give a goddamn about your impact date or your
fuck your
date.
impact date. I need it now. I go to my OM. I was like, we need this on the air now. It's like, are you sure? Positive. This is in February of last year.
You know what?
Biggest song in the country last year, man.
What's crazy when you talk about that stuff? My son hit me to the Baby. He had a class project in physics.
Okay.
And he's like, I can rap about this stuff in the physics, and I'm gonna use this song. And it was debate. It was Suge. I'm listening to the joint. I'm like, what the hell? And he was rapping to the joint, blah blah blah. I was like, Craig, so this is he's like, yep, this is the song. That is the song. And, oh, okay, all right. About a week later, I'm hearing it everywhere. I was like, oh, this dude, they locked in way before we are. You know what I'm saying?
Way before we are.
We are.
With the TikToks, the streaming, like it is, you got to be on it. But back to Ride With Me.
Okay.
I hated the song. I still hate the song, but it's a hit. How did you feel about Ride With Me?
Come on now. I love Ride With Me. I loved it. I loved it to death. Ride With Me was it's you know, it was not my favorite song on the album, but you know, the visual took it there, man. Come on now. The visual, the videos, the video, it was a no-brainer. I mean, at that time, Nelly couldn't miss. Mm-hmm. At that time, he was riding riding a serious wave that, you know, sometimes in radio, just like you said, you know, when is it going to come down? When is it going to end? It's kind of like Cardi B today. You thought Cardi B she's not cranking out all the radio songs, but she went for a long time, back to back to back to back to back song. With Nelly, he was like, when is this shit? He just keeps, every time you turn around, he dropped the Jagged Edge remix with the, it's like you just kept, his presence was so large there. If we didn't, come on now. And plus, we was in a heated radio war.
Okay.
Then, and they were playing Ride With Me. Come on, you know, they're the heritage stations with the New Kids on the Block. So you know what we do? I told you we gave the station to Nelly. It didn't matter. Yeah. We played all the Nelly songs right behind. So because we made that connection, and you know what it was? They weren't showing as much love to the independent artists. That was our niche from that point. So when we came in, we started playing on independent artists. Nelly and them, they were independent before they got there. They actually broke Nelly. They paid Nelly them song, but they didn't give them all that super love. So they came over to us, was like, hey, we feel y'all. We see y'all doing it. You know, we had to break down barriers and doors. We was like, oh no, man, door wide open. Come on in, man. You ain't got to just let yourself in. Have a seat. You know what I'm saying?
It's a big difference between spiking a record and actually adding a record. You know, it's a big difference. So we go on to my personal favorite Nelly song of all time, E.I.
E.I. for real?
Hell yeah.
What? E.I. was your joint?
Many a party with one of these cups in my hand. Acting a fool. And you want to talk about visual. That's the visual of my college life.
Okay.
Them at a party.
Yep.
Drinking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, this party ain't jumping. Let's go to next party in the next dorm or the next living dorm. Like, that's what it was about. Yeah. And you know, no one would ever claim Nelly to be like a lyricist. But on this song,
he spit. He spit. But see, some people don't know. In Nelly's older songs, he rapped real fast. And like, I remember Ali, he came because Ali. Let me tell you another story. Q95.5. Ali actually did weekends on our radio station. Ali, we had him over there, and he would always tell us stuff about, you know, stuff I didn't know about Nelly. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't see Nelly a lot. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Nelly was the Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? We would see Murphy Lee, we would see Keywan all the time. Ali would come through. Damn, what's my man name with the mask? Damn.
Slow motion.
Slow down. See, slow down. Damn, Slow. Sorry about that. Slow is my man too. Slow down. And City Spell was still locked up at this time. But nevertheless, their song that was big on the radio before they broke, Nelly used to be rap real fast on that song, and he was spitting. You know what I'm saying? It's like when it was just that perfect storm when they went and did that Country Grammar album. When he set himself apart, when he became the only one doing what he did on records with that singing and that rapping, that's what really made him who he is. You know, people, like I said, them New Yorkers hated it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, he had a whole lane that nobody had. You know, so that's what made him so big. And you know, the ladies love to do that. And that was, now when you talk to nowadays, social media, we had, I don't know what the fuck was around back then. What was around back then? Was it Black Planet? Was it Black Planet?
Was Black Planet out in 2000 yet?
Was it Black Planet out?
I don't even think Black Planet was out yet. It might have been. I'll do my Googles. Go ahead. I'll let you know.
But nevertheless, we didn't have that social media so you could see the dude. You had your BET, you had your MTV, you know, whatever the AB Uncut and all that. You know what I'm saying? So the ladies, when they saw him, it was like it made him God. Come on now, just call it what it is. Them women were tripping off of that dude. Man. Seriously tripping off that dude.
You know, for me, growing up in Cleveland and going to school in Dayton and everything like that, you know, I didn't know anything about St. Louis outside of the Rams, you know, outside of the Cardinals.
Greatest show on turf.
Yeah, like, put on the show. So, you know, in the EI video, everybody got on a Torrey Holt, Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk jersey. Like, they were the team in the NFL that everybody loved to watch. Even if you may not be a fan of the team, you know they putting up a lot of points and it's fun football to watch. So like that had you. You had the car painted like the St. Louis Rams. Like like you talked about with visual. So EI for me, not only the visual but the actual song, home run for me. So then you got For My, and this is a young Lil Wayne on this song. We forget that Lil Wayne's been in the game for so long, and how many different styles of Wayne we have had. We had the Hot Boys Lil Wayne, and this song is still young Hot Boys Wayne. This is even before, you know, he broke out and did like the Carters and the 400 Degrees albums and the rock and roll album. Like, this is before Young Money. This is before everything. And listening to that, you listen and hear how young his voice even sounds. Like, this is a young kid. So having a
before that lean. But go ahead.
yeah. This is even before all the mixtapes and before all the features. So having a feature from Lil Wayne, you looking at it like, oh man, he got a feature from Lil Wayne on his first album. That's dope. But at this time, it's just a feature. Wayne is not Wayne.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He wasn't. Nelly actually did Wayne a favor putting him on his album. That's what that was. But Kev, I must say, I did not personally. I hated this record. That's just me.
Okay.
I hated this record. I didn't like this record at all. But you know what? We played that shit.
Got to play it.
I didn't like it. You ain't gonna like everything, man. In this game, you ain't gonna like. It's a lot of things, and I don't know. I equate where I'm from DC to St. Louis is kind of the same. You know what I'm saying? We have some of the same style. I think that's why I really worked in St. Louis, because I just felt like sometimes I would be in St. Louis and I would drive down the street and I was like, oh shit, I feel like I'm in DC somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy sometimes. It's like it was certain people I would meet in St. Louis that would remind me of a dude in DC. And I told people that all the time. I was like, St. Louis and DC has some similarities in a good way, and it has some similarities in a real bad way too. Because St. Louis ain't no joke. People think it ain't no playing ground. They passionate about theirs, just like any other city. But
big facts.
But I didn't like that record. I ain't like and I listened to it again today. And I was like, you know what? I just don't. It just wasn't. I could.
Since I
it was, you know what it was? It was Lil Wayne too. It was Wayne. It was the young Lil Wayne that pissed me off. I was like, you know what?
You know what? For me doing this podcast, even back listening to songs that I despised then, like I still just like it's something I can't even get over. Like I try to be open minded, be like, all right, man, this album came out 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Let me go into it with an open mind. When those certain beats drop and you hear certain things, it just brings you back to that certain place in time where you be like, you know what? I hated this then and I hate it now. Skip.
You're right past that motherfucker.
Right. But I want to rewind a little bit. The actual first song on the album, St. Louis. I would imagine that rang bells in St. Louis.
Oh yeah, it did. But that was more of a mix show record though.
Yeah.
It wasn't like just like the Other Side, more mix show. Other Side got in rotation. It did get in rotation, but it started off in a mix show format. It didn't, because we had so many songs, you know what I'm saying? He had because he had the features, you know what I'm saying? He was doing so much then, you know what I'm saying? He was popping so much, can't play,
can't play everything.
Can't play every goddamn thing,
You got other artists, you got other
so many slots.
Records too. Yeah,
even though it was Nelly Town, but yeah.
So we got Batter Up, another one, another single. But this is when we get some of the St. Lunatics getting some love outside of
visual. Now that video turned that song upside down. That video, I mean, it was a great song. We played the hell out of it, but it just seems like now, I guess back then we depended more because of the social media. We depended more on those visuals, and that whole setup was it was incredible, man. It was like, it was a great song. It was a great song.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the visual, them really bringing baseball to the front. And I know baseball is a huge thing in St. Louis. And, here in Ohio, like if the Reds are winning, everybody's with them. If the Cleveland Indians are winning, everybody's with them. But if they losing, it just seemed like the white folks is with them. You know what I'm saying? When those teams are winning, the black folks showing up. But when they ain't winning now, fuck them. See you next season. But in St. Louis,
it's a baseball town.
Baseball town.
They love them Cardinals more than every race. Black, white, I don't care, Hispanic, Chinese. They love them damn Cardinals. And I couldn't relate because when I got there, we didn't have no team in DC. You gotta understand that. The Nationals weren't there just yet.
But y'all the champs now.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. I grew up on, my early years was being a Baltimore Orioles fan because we didn't have baseball in DC for a long time. You know what I'm saying? The Iron Man, we didn't have that. So when I got to St. Louis and I'm seeing all these brothers, and I played baseball growing up, but I didn't see, it wasn't like after I got older, past high school, I played boys club baseball. I didn't, it didn't mature. Everybody played football, basketball, high school. It wasn't nobody was out there on the baseball team, I should have been. Damn it. I wish somebody would have pushed me toward that shit. You know what I'm saying? Hell yeah. Yeah. But nevertheless, it was that city with them Cardinals, that's what took it to, that's what really, that whole battle, they just in the Cardinal nation just embraced them even. I don't know. Nelly was already crossing over. That just solidified the whole crossover in St. Louis,
I'm glad you brought it up, man. Him crossing over. How did that go over in St. Louis?
Man, he couldn't do nothing wrong. They loved. Come on now. You had your Nelly haters out there. Don't get me wrong. You had your Nelly haters. Everybody ain't gonna like you. But at the end of the day, him crossing over was the best thing ever, and they were real. I can say this about, I got the vibe from their camp that they were real protective over him in that crossover audience. They were real protective over that. They really wanted to make sure that he was doing things and being in that light where he could keep that crossover going. Because back then, the record labels were really involved, and it was really high pressure coming from the label. Labels really ran stuff there back then. You know what I'm saying? It's not like today when the labels you don't run shit no more. You know what I'm saying? Right. Oh, I got this from him. Yeah, this is what we playing. No. They made decisions back then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? Now it's like, because the game done changed so much, I don't need your record label. You know what I'm saying? I can get them million streams and I'll be straight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can just run and do my touring and hone into my crowd, But back then,
do these club dates.
Yep. Back then, the record label, they were the machine. You know what I'm saying? They had control over all that, so they were real protective of that. I had a lot of conversations with a lot of different record reps about, especially the Universal motherfuckers, man. And they always would be, because once again, we were the new guys on the block, that station across the street, we would always get the ass in the shit because, they've been here forever, their heritage. I was like, well, they getting their ass kicked right now. We don't give a goddamn about them being a heritage or whatever.
We got the numbers.
Shit. Bastards. We ain't had the numbers all the time. We just had the streets.
Hey.
We had the streets.
Yeah. We gonna get into the streets in a minute, man. Mm-hmm. So another single, you talked about it earlier, Loving Me. Mm-hmm. How did that affect like the women?
Now, I'm gonna tell you something, man.
Earlier.
We did a concert, Nellyville, the second album. We called it Nellyville, the concert. And I remember this like it was nothing in my life, man. When we did this concert, we was outside, open air. It was our concert, my station's concert. We produced everything with the concert. We sold the tickets. It was all us. They made the deal with my station. And at this concert, when he did that song, I'm on stage. I'm on the side of the stage. And you can see, when I say open air, it's probably like, I don't know, probably like as far as you can see people. And when he dropped that damn song and he dropped out the music and all the women started singing that shit, I'm in this motherfucker like, oh my God, this is real. This is real. So the impact, that whole, I remember you had Kelly Rowland, you had a young Larry Hughes in the video, another visual. It was like, it was a perfect storm. Nelly, he was hitting on all cylinders, man. Think about that.
Yeah, man. Hell of a run.
He actually took Kelly Rowland's career with that song to another. He helped her out. Think about it. She was all queen with Destiny's Child and all that. You know what I'm saying? Beyonce was still in the limelight. She got put on the pedestal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She got put up there. Kelly got to step up because of that whole Nelly association. you know. And I think he was fake. They were probably faking it, like, I don't know if they ever messed around or anything, but nevertheless, they faked it kind of good, you know. That's what you need to do to make things, you know, sell them albums, you know.
Sell them records, man. So I got 2 more questions for you, man. 2 more questions for you.
Okay, all right.
Number 1, and something we was texting about when it went down, man. What in the hell went wrong with Nelly versus Ludacris on the versus battle?
I think Nelly ass got drunk on that motherfucker, man. Hey, man, everybody saw it. The damn internet started jacking up, and he was in there sipping like I am right now. Because I'm sipping water right now. People, it's an illusion. I'm sipping straight up water right now.
You got to rehydrate. You rode 61 miles a day.
Yeah, you're right about that. But Nelly was actually sipping something good. He was, I don't know. You could tell in this whole presence, he was like, oh, this nigga, he getting sauce right now. It seemed like something was really going on up in it. He was feeling it. He was feeling it. He really was. But he had a Teddy Riley moment, man. That damn internet stuff. The dudes on my podcast called me Teddy Riley, talking about I'm always messing something up. But that's what it was. And I think he actually won that, even though that was just my opinion. I guess because I was a favorite. I liked the songs. I don't think he played enough of his bigger songs. Had he played more of his bigger songs, he would have won by a landslide. Luda got some hits, don't get me wrong, but I guess I'm just, I'm St. Louis, man. So
man. For me, it was like, all right, going into it, I was like, I think Luda's going to win, but it's going to be so close. It could go either way. But something I learned from watching all these versus battles, man, you talked about it before with the streets. The streets still run hip-hop. The streets still run hip-hop, and we saw it again with the Fab and Jadakiss battle. Like when you get the momentum going your way towards the streets, it's hard to bring it back to those radio friendly records, those girl records. So I think Nelly really messed up when he didn't fully embrace the whole radio friendly girl records. Like he should have just like went in with it. Like I think both sides of the fence for a little while, and then he got himself behind and he couldn't catch up. So I say just fully embrace what made you a bazillionaire. What made
got drunk.
You a superstar and got super slizzard and super gone on whatever he was drinking, man. But last question I got for you, man. When you listen to this album again, man, what was your first memory when you listened to this album again?
Damn, dude. Damn. You know what? It took me back to St. Louis when I got there. They have this parade in St. Louis called the Annie Malone Parade. Annie Malone is an orphanage in St. Louis. Annie Malone Day, and they have a big parade. Like this parade would go through the city. This parade is probably like almost 30 miles. The route is 30 miles long. It goes from all the way through the hood, all the way, you know, it was just, and it's, everybody comes out. You have all the record labels, all the businesses, all the cars, you know what I'm saying? And man, it took me back to that, my first Annie Malone Mayday parade when we did a carnival type float, where we had the big ass speakers blasting all the music, and you know, the DJs would drop, they dropped the any Nelly song, and it would be like people falling off float. We pissed off the whole, because nobody had ever. Once again, shout out to my man Mike Fox. This program, he came up with the idea, and I was like, "What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Huh?" I couldn't believe what you gonna do. It's like, man, it turned into carnival out there. People dancing behind our float, people just running out for like almost 20 miles. People walking behind our float. We were the parade. At one time, we became the parade. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's what it really took me back to, because I remember that. It was like, they talked about that shit after that was done, man. They talked about that forever and ever. It was like, man, y'all turned that parade out. I mean, and that's just what that album, this album, it reminded me. It just took me back to that place when I first got there and I had that first experience in that parade, man. Because it's like that Annie Malone is like, that's a historic it's history in that city, you know, what that orphanage is, man. And that parade is iconic. A lot of crazy things come about with that parade, like any other thing, you know what I'm saying? It can't be all good, but nevertheless, with those that moment in time in this album and that parade was just something that if you ask anybody from St. Louis about Game Alone, Mayday Parade, and Q95.5, they're gonna say one thing. Oh, that float, boy. When they won that float, with all them speakers on it, they turned. Yeah, that took me back there, man. It was some real good times in St. Louis, you know, man. That's my city, man. And I go back every year. Unfortunately, not this year because of this COVID-19 pandemic BS Trump fiasco fuck up. But it is what it is, man. You know.
Yeah, and that's what any classic album does. It brings you back to a moment in time, and you remember things so vividly, and it brings you back, and you just remember, and you reminisce about those times, and that's what good music does. Go ahead and shout out everything, man. Shout out your podcast. Shout out your Cuts for Kids, man. Shout it all out, man. How people can get involved in the community Cuts for Kids, man.
Before I do that, man, I'm gonna say this about this album. One last thing, man.
Okay,
This album really, it caught people off guard. That's what it was. You know what I'm saying? This album really, you ran at the beginning of the show, you ran down all them other albums that came. I forgot all them other albums even came out and all that other music was there. This album did that much. It kind of like, he took, and that's why it went diamond, 10 times platinum, because he shook the whole music industry up. He did. He changed, and he just changed everything about hip hop at that time.
And,
you know what I'm saying?
And another thing is what people like forget about in music in general is when you from a place where music doesn't necessarily come from, hip hop music or whatever, when you have a guy and they shine a light on your city, the labels start coming to your city to find the next guy. So we get a Chingy from the situation.
Yes.
We get a Huey from the situation.
Yes.
So, you know, like that's something I always try to stress to, you know what I'm saying?
Jaquan. Shout out to them track boys.
Yeah.
Them track, my man Joe Capo, Tar Boy. Yes. Them dudes,
so
they produced Air Force Ones. These dudes, it's like they produce Hood Hop for Jaquan. They produce a lot of different records for a lot of people, but you got so much. But you know what was crazy is Nelly was the one that broke out, was a star. It was so much more, so many more artists. You got Silk Smooth. Remember, you don't even remember. I'm gonna tell y'all to go Google Domino. Domino came out of St. Louis. Okay, I want y'all to understand. Go Google Domino, and you'll see what song he had. But it was so many different artists that were already there rapping, doing their thing.
Hold on, Domino, Sweet Potato Pie?
That Domino, straight out of St. Louis, Missouri.
Even the Lou? I ain't know he's from the Lou.
Yes,
I thought he was from LA.
Yes. No.
Okay.
Who else? Shout out to the Gatekeepers, my man Luke Mine and Odie. It's so many different. I can't begin to name.
And we can't forget.
I forgot more than they are. You know what I'm saying?
We can't forget about J.E. He did a lot of production on this album. Came up with the beat for Country Grammar, and that's
Basement Beats. That took off. Basement Beats. Yep.
That's the one that took off like a rocket, man. So yeah, man. Shout out to your community Cuts for Kids. Shout out to your podcast. Go ahead, man.
All right, so I gotta talk about my community Cuts for Kids first, man. It's my program that I do for the kids in St. Louis and in Washington D.C. We'll be cutting with style boys and girls' heads for back to school, and we supply them with school supplies, health screenings, all type of refreshments, entertainment, DJ, moon bounce, all that, and we have a lot for the parents as well. A lot of activities for the parents, and we also do nails. It's just a whole family event, and this would have been my 20th year in St. Louis, but it got canceled. But we're coming back 2021. Don't worry about that. We're coming right back with it, and this would have been my 4th year in Washington D.C. at my hometown D.C. and bringing it. Shout out to WPGC. 95.5, which is ironic. Q95.5 is crazy. But I started out in St. Louis. I started off radio in DC first before I went to St. Louis, but nevertheless, they're both 95.5. But that's my program. You can go to the website, thecraigshillsfoundation.org. You can see everything that I do with my program, Community Cuts for Kids. It's my passion project, and I'm gonna keep doing it until I can't do it no more. And hopefully if I get my son around to come around, I can get him to continue this legacy of Community Cuts for Kids. But once again, go to the website, thecraigshieldsfoundation.org. It's actually the name of my event. I actually changed the name of the parent company. It's the Burton and Craig Shields Foundation in honor of my brother, my passing of my brother. I lost him about 2 years ago now. I put his name on the program. So it's the Burton and Craig Shields Foundation's Community Cuts for Kids, but the website still is thecraigshieldsfoundation.org. Can't change that up yet. It's just a lot to do. You know what I'm saying? So
politics as usual.
Yeah, that's that. My podcast, some Wildcats, these dudes, they some fools that were talking about you, Kev, before. You got to check out the next episode before we did our thing. They crazy. We're on all your favorite podcast apps, SoundCloud, iHeartMedia, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. We just a bunch of friends that's been together for friends for the last 35, 40 plus years, and we just talk about the topics we want to talk about. It's a good podcast, man. I don't think it's as good as just Rewind, but it's a good podcast. You know what I'm saying? It's all right. It's all right. Shameless plug. It's at Some Wildcats. That Cats is with a Z. You can catch me on all social media. I'm at Craig Blac. That's Craig Blac. No K up in that joint. We don't do the KKK. So it's Craig Blac. Okay, you see it right there on the screen. You can check me out on iTunes. On Twitter, on Facebook, and on IG. I'm all over the place, man. And shout out to my radio station, WPGC. Currently do weekends. I get my radio fix. I'm not 100% in radio anymore, but I do that thing part time. I get my little crack, and I'm good. I'm good for the week.
Hey, man, people don't understand, man. I talk to my homies about this. Like, man, Kev, you so smart. You could do other things. It's something about that radio, man. It's something about it, man. Be calling me.
Man, Kev, let it go, man. Let it go.
Calling me. It be calling me. Hey, but this podcast shit, I got two. I got this one, and I got You Can't Make This Up. I've been doing with my guy, DJ Killer Kev, and they Dizzle for a minute.
That's mine. When you do that's in hiatus, or you still doing that?
No, we still do that. We still do that every week. You know what I'm saying?
200 episodes, right?
Yeah. Oh man, if y'all want to see some boys get wild, check out that 200 episode. We was popping bottles at the we are doing it all digital, just like everybody else, man. But being able to do a podcast, that also helps scratch that itch to being on the radio and doing your thing, man. So, be on the lookout for your boy, man. You never know what happens.
All right.
Blac, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the stories. I appreciate the content. Taking us behind the scenes, man, everything that went down with Nelly and the St. Lunatics in St. Louis in that early 2000s period, man. I appreciate you, bro.
All right, man. I appreciate you asking me to be on, Kev, man. Look at that. My dude.
We're going to get you a watch for Christmas.
Hey, I was caught on the roads, man. They caught me up today, Kev. I didn't realize I did 61 miles, man. I'm about to pass out right now, dude. Hey.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks, bro.
All right. Thank you, man.
All right, man.
All right.